Hey, if you love your live theatre, your timing is impeccable. There's a medieval comedy about to debut in Ballarat this Friday night. Behind it is Ballarat National Theatre, the director of Wyrd Sisters. You heard correctly, Wyrd Sisters is Liana Emmerson. She joins me in studio. Liana, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Great retro hoodie, by the way, too, from Ballarat National Theatre. It's got one of my favourite things of all time on it, an old mix cassette.
Yes, me too. You gotta love a mixtape.
Did you used to record the songs from the radio back in the day?
Sure did. Member number 5.
Doesn't get much better than that. Hey, this is a play by Terry Pratchett. You're a massive fan.
Yeah, I
Tell
am.
us about him.
So, it's really funny when you talk about Terry Pratchett in Ballarat because plenty of people have no idea who Terry Pratchett is. But Sir Terry Pratchett has written the very famous Discworld novel series. There's 41 novels in it, and they have a massive, massive following. Now, when I proposed this show initially, the people on the board and the theatre company's programming committee had also never heard of Terry Pratchett. But most people, if they've got an Amazon Prime subscription and they've seen Good Omens with Martin and David Tennant in it, that's written by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. Terry Pratchett is a very, very famous novelist, and he only passed away a couple of years ago, which was just an absolute tragedy. He died way too young. But he's an incredible man, and so his the Discworld series is famous for being, it's kind of like slapstick, stupid Monty Python humour set in a magical world. The Discworld is this giant disc that sits on the back of four elephants that stand on the back of a giant turtle that swims through space.
Of course.
Yeah, and it's got all these wild, crazy, recurring characters. This particular story that we're doing, Wyrd Sisters, has some of the classic characters in it, Granny Weatherwax and secretly also Death. So some people have probably seen the play adaptation of this book before. The book itself, Death, is a key character and is an iconic character in the Discworld series, but he wasn't in the play. And so I asked special permission from, the powers that be for us to put Death back in, and I sent them the proposed script, and they approved it, and they told me we're not allowed to tell anyone about that. So everyone, that's a secret. And do you know what was amazing? So Death in the play, in the book, all through the series, he's got this iconic voice which is described as 2 stone doors closing, and it's always written in all caps. So when you see Death, it's like, wow. So casting that was really, who am I going to get? Yeah. And the first person I thought of was Barry Kay. Now, if you've ever been to Sovereign Hill, you probably would have seen Barry Kay over the last 25 odd years, just being an absolute icon there. He ran the acting department there for quite a while. So I contacted Barry and I was like, Sir, I need you, please. And I twisted his arm to audition, and he was just splendid, absolutely sensational. So I got him. So I've got the person for me in my head. That's my dream cast was him.
What about the rest of the cast? Were they a bit like, what on earth are you doing, Liana? This stuff is just out there.
Well, some of them have never heard of Terry Pratchett before. Yeah. So the woman who plays Granny Weatherwax, it was completely new to her. And I contacted her first. So I went through my dream casts of local performers and I just asked the first people. And then I went, I had my, list of the 5 people that I would want to cast in that role. So Jin, who plays Granny Weatherwax, I went to her before I even pitched the show. And I was like, I want you to look at this and let me know if you want to be on board. Because this is my first time doing a stage production as a director. I've done audio before. Having her would help me get some extra, it expands my brain power for my first show.
Yeah.
So she said yes. And when she was telling people, I'm in this show, and they're like, what is it? And then she's like, oh, it's a Terry Pratchett. And they go, oh my God, are you Granny Weatherwax? So I knew I'd cast her appropriately. And the same thing, once I had all of those people in, people were like, "Who have you cast Ali Krieg as Nanny Og?" And I was like, oh yeah, I've already done it. People were expecting those castings. So I think local Pratchett fans and people who've never seen Pratchett before are going to have an absolute treat. It's a wild ride.
So if you were forced to read Shakespeare as a kid and you love a bit of Monty Python, this play is for you.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. So yeah, that great kind of, even I think Hot Fuzz is a more modern style of that humour. But Monty Python and the Holy Grail is just right that alley. And yeah, if you've been forced to read Shakespeare at any point, you will get all of it's like taking the Mickey.
So, Wyrd Sisters, the plot, Liana, tell us about it.
It is, you've got 3 witches, which is the basis of the opening of Macbeth, and it starts with that same line, when shall we 3 meet again, all spooky and cackling. But instead of the witches being the people that summon Macbeth in to cause havoc and kill everybody, what they do is they save a kingdom. So there's a problem, and the Duke is like your Macbeth type character. He's the problem. He hates the witches. He hates the kingdom. He wants to chop down all the trees. And so you just have these wacky three witches bumbling through this whole life thing, just doing magic and causing problems. It's great.
Sounds like fun. Hey, the location where the play is going to be on at, I don't think I've mentioned this before, the Woodman's Hill Performing Arts Centre. This is a pretty new facility, right?
Yeah, and it's part of the Woodman's Hill Secondary College, which for the old hats, that's Ballarat East.
Ah, yeah.
So the corner of Fussell and Victoria Street, and they've just got this new theatre. So it's, if anyone's been out to Ballarat East and you saw the old hall there, that's not there anymore. They've got this brand new theatre there. I understand we are the first people to go there and use it for, like, I think they've had conferences there, but we're the first theatre show. So it's new for us and it's new for the school. It's very exciting.
Times. How are you feeling though, Liana? Your first time on stage as a director. What are the nerves like?
Well, technically it's off stage as a director, and yeah, it's this cast 2 weeks out from us doing, like, moving into the theatre, they were like, it was singing. They were just excellent. Well, not singing because it's not a musical, but they were amazing. But it's all the other stuff that goes into it that's been quite stressful. We've had a few very late nights this week. By we, I mean not the cast. It's like the production team, like this small knit group of people out very late doing lots of stuff to make it all happen.
You've had crafternoons leading up to it as well, making these amazing fantasy themed costumes.
Oh my God, there's two things that stand out as just ridiculous from those crafternoons, which is, one is I designed and we had a collaborative team effort to make this massive map. Like, it was enormous. It's the size of a king-size bed sheet. So I do a little bit of cartography as a hobby. So I designed this map and everyone took their time painting it together, and it pops up for 1.5 minutes in the show.
Settle.
And then the other thing is Rhonda, who's one of our crew and an absolute gun, she's made these broomsticks for the witches to have. And then I wanted Granny Weatherwax to have a bigger broom, and I described it to her and I was like, these ones are quite small. Like, you can fit one whole, like the broom handle fits in your fist. We want Granny's broom to be like, you can grip it with 2 hands. And she went away. Next week she came back with, I'm not joking here, a log. And I was like, Rhonda, it's too big. Like, I can't do anything with that. And she's like, okay. And she goes away. And then she came back with a log that was somewhere between the first log and the small branches.
She's persistent.
And I was like, okay, I'm just going to, this is hilarious. I'm going to work with it. And that's what we've used in it. So when you see Granny Weatherwax come out flying on a broom, which is amazing, she comes out, I'm bursting to say this, but I'll let it be a surprise. I don't want to give spoilers for people who see the show, but we got the rights to play a song that's very hard to get the rights to while she flies out on the broom, and it's this massive log that Rhonda from the crew brought in and made the broom out of.
Great story. Sounds like no one says no to you very often, Liana. That's the theme I'm getting through this.
Well, let's say yes, but usually when I ask something, people often look at me with this fear. Oh no.
Raise an eyebrow. Oh no, Liana's asking again. It sounds like a lot of fun. Wyrd Sisters, that's WYRD. Wyrd Sisters debuts Friday night out at the Woodman's Hill Performing Arts Centre. Plays right up until Saturday the 1st, so there's a good number of shows, and you can get your tickets now through the Civic Hall box office or at hermag.com. Liana, Emmerson, break a leg on Friday night. Sounds like a lot of fun.
Thank you.